Yeah, Carnivore Strong, heading out on the hiking trails. Just gonna kind of make myself along here. It's a pretty good area back here where I live. This is kind of the base area of this North Mountain. We'll be doing a lot of hiking. Getting going a little later than I usually would be up. These are always really interesting rocks. But all I know is this is like where I mountain bike sometimes too, but I would hate to wipe out on these rocks because they're like little upright razors stacked together. So yeah, a cheat video I did, as I say, the sabotage, you know, whatever you want to call it, having a treat. I do think it's an interesting thing that people make a big deal out of it, and I can see why. It's a big bummer you let yourself down. Again, I think, just to clarify, I just don't think it's worth beating yourself up because you already feel bad and it really doesn't do anything. And again, as I look back, that couple days stall, the couple days difference doesn't matter. And what you learn from it is usually you don't feel good and you're not happy. And I think sometimes that's almost stronger than maybe never having that lesson. It's like when I raced motocross. If you're not crashing into a corner or out of a corner or something, you're not pushing yourself past that limit. And you need to do that. Just sometimes you need to crash to know where your limits are. And this is a gnarly hill. Doesn't look like it, but it is. And it feels good to get out here, man. It just, a little bit of muscle sore. You can tell with my breathing. This is what it's about. Getting carnivore strong. Great place just to get out and hike. Still in Phoenix, but you can definitely get away. And that's the resort down there, the Tapatio North Mountain. And then the North Mountain is on the other side of that, past 7th Street. And again, looking back toward downtown Phoenix, way down there. So these guys, these Ocotillo cactus, just a fun little tidbit, are actually my favorite cactus of the desert. I don't know, there's just something so cool the way they come out of the ground, and they're so sculptural in the way they come up. They get really green and have really pretty flowering. And then when you see them up close, of course, they're your typical cactus. Pretty gnarly. But you can get an idea, all the little bloom things. So again, when they're in bloom, they're wild. But even dry, I don't know, there's just something cool about them. So out here in the middle of this, and I always wonder, how does that get here? This is the kind of things I often wonder. I'm sure it came up through the way I'm going, but it's, I don't know, just an oddity. Anyway, I'm going to be getting glasses soon again, because as I said, my eyesight's gotten way better since going carnivore. You can see these darkening up. Always had the, I don't know what they call it, transition lenses, I believe. But I'm not going to get them this time. The more I'm studying, the more I'm learning about, you know, health, different kinds of health. I'm just not going to bother doing it. So, just going to get regular lenses. So here I am, near the end of my hike. So I got called out by a guy on Instagram. Didn't like my cheating video. Said it's a gateway. It's really bad. Everybody else, thank you so much for the positive posts on that cheating video. I think it resonated with way more than, like, I had one comment, you know, where the addiction was so strong they think it's, you got to be careful. And I agree. If you've got a bad addiction, be careful. I'm not saying plan them. I'm saying if you have a kid's birthday and you need to plan them to get over this let's call it a 6-month, 1-year hump, that's a fine way to do it. But I'm not saying plan them for every week. If you're planning them for every single week and you're doing them every single week, I do think that's a bad situation. I'm just going to spin around here. I'm kind of right down near my neighborhood, so I'm just kind of done with my walk for the day. But yeah, so if you need that to get through this, so be it. Give people grace. But where this guy was it's all mental, and I know, and he'd mentioned that he, I guess, cheated, had a treat twice on sugar, so he knows what it's all about. Like nobody else has. I don't know. It even shows that his mental fortitude or his mental strength didn't work, did it? Because the dude had something, it sounds like, at least twice where he messed up and had it. And that is proof right there. He should have looked at that and said, oh, wait, hang on a second. Mental strength isn't strong enough to stop and break and change a habit of addiction. Sometimes it takes learning. It's what you do with that when you mess up and you learn. If you find yourself doing it every week, you definitely got to look into what's triggering it, why it's being triggered, and figure out a way around it. And that's individual to each person. It might be like movie night. And these habits are an interesting thing, because say like you're going to have a movie night on Fridays and you're used to having a whole bunch of snacks. Well, the fact that the snacks are the bad habit that you want to break. But Friday coming around, it might be like starting to look at what movies you're going to watch is the initial trigger that then triggers that movie night. And because of movie night, you have to have snacks. So these triggers sometimes are deeper set, and to break that routine. It might even be changing a movie night to a Thursday night doesn't start this kind of like progressive habit thing and form a new habit and just get rid of Fridays completely. Then it might become, hey, I'm going to get a little bowl of pork rinds, a little side of sour cream, and then I'm going to go pick out a movie and enjoy the movie and do it. Or you might say, hey, I'm going to grab whatever, laptop, sit at the computer, have a couple pork rinds, get your keyboard greasy, pick out the movie, and then you're not going to snack at the movie. That way, if you want to pick up movie night again on Fridays, you're kind of broken that habit of I have to have a snack with movies, and again, all those precursors to that thing. Habits are interesting. I really love the psychology behind them, because it is more than just the actual act of something negative that you're eating. There's much more to it. Gotta be laid back, brother.